Welcome to the 5 Steps to a Successful Adult Day Service Business. And this is Dina Shepherd. I am the CEO and founder of Care Assurance. And I wanted to hold this session for you guys today. And this is really just for those that are in the Black Nurse Entrepreneur Group. So something special for you guys. Wanted to provide you with the tools and basic information that you will need to consider when you're looking at starting an adult day business. So we're going to go over some of the very basic steps required when you're looking at getting started, and you will definitely get some value out of this training today. So a little bit about who I am. Again, my name is Dina Shepherd, and I am the CEO and owner of Care Assurance. I am a nurse entrepreneur. I am an LPN. I have been an LPN for 18 years. The majority of my professional career has been working with geriatrics in one setting or another. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've owned a few businesses. I've owned a home care company, a care management company, successfully ran and operated those, independent provider business, and was able to grow that to a 6-figure business. So we were very proud of that. Again, I've been a nurse for 18 years, and I've had 15 years of clinical leadership experience in senior care. So I've worked a lot in assisted living, and I've held positions such as director of wellness and executive director for multiple senior living communities throughout the U.S. A couple states to name are Georgia, Ohio, Florida, and Pennsylvania. So I'm very familiar with the senior care industry, very familiar with various regulations within those industries as well. To introduce Care Assurance officially launched in 2017, although I engaged in consulting services going all the way back to 2009. We officially launched Care Assurance in 2017, and that was shortly after we sold our home care company. So we decided to develop a business where we were able to support and inspire and train aspiring and current senior care business providers such as yourselves. So that is where Care Assurance came from. We have a business development division, and we just recently added a healthcare division. So under that business development division, we do have business development strategy and accountability coaching for senior care business providers. We also provide leadership coaching for new and established entrepreneurs that maybe they have not held a leadership role within their past employment endeavors, or they just want to strengthen themselves when it comes down to being a strong leader as an entrepreneur. Because one of the things that I learned along the way is that leadership in a job setting and leadership as an entrepreneur are two very different things. So that's something that we support individuals on as well. We have an up-and-coming dementia care program for senior care providers. We're very excited about that. You'll be hearing more about that in the coming weeks as well. And then we have Care Assurance Academy, which is a new platform we will definitely discuss later on. And our healthcare division, we have just started adding geriatric care management. We have a geri psych program and a transitional care program where we have collaborated with some pretty amazing healthcare professionals to make sure that we are bridging the gap in healthcare services. So that covers our business development and our healthcare division. So as we are supporting business owners, we're right out there with you, supporting the seniors that you are caring for as well. All right, so we're going to jump right in. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure you put those in the chat, and I will definitely check those and get those answered for you. But one thing I wanted to do before we even get into, how to get started in business, I really wanted to make sure you all had a clear understanding of what adult day services or adult daycare, sometimes it's referred as that, what exactly this model of business includes. So as you can see, the definition here is a non-residential facility that provides healthcare, nutritional, and social oversight. So this is a place, when you think of daycare, it can be very similar to traditional child daycare settings. The individual, the senior, comes to a facility, a location, and they receive not just the socialization component, but a lot of adult daycare settings now are also providing care and oversight support. That nutritional support is there. They're eating their meals there. Typically, there's a breakfast, there's snack, and then there's lunch that is provided there. So that's where that nutritional support is coming in. But it's a temporary facility. It's not a place where they go and they live for several days on end. It is somewhere that they go during the daytime hours. And again, it's very, very much so similar to the model of children's daycare. So most standard adult daycare centers are open Monday through Friday. They hold very traditional business hours, a lot of times 8 a.m. to 5:30 or 6 p.m. Is typically what you're going to see. Many of them are not open on holidays. Many are not open on the weekends. And that is not something that is regulated. So if a provider wanted to open on the weekends, wanted to open on holidays, that's definitely something that they can do. But if you're just looking at industry standard and what typically is seen Monday through Friday, a typical 8 a.m. to 5:30 or 6 p.m. is what you're going to see. Now let's talk a little bit about the purpose of adult daycare. So with children, a lot of times, most of the time, we're looking at child daycares because we need to go to work as parents and we need somewhere to drop off our sons and daughters. We need them to be safe, watched over while we are going to work. And adult daycare provides very similar services, but it goes a little deeper than that. So one of the benefits that adult daycare provides is it provides a respite for families and caregivers. And that respite is not always just, okay, I need to run errand and I can't take mom or dad or auntie and uncle with me. It also can be an emotional respite. If we have a potential family member and they are the full-time caregiver, that starts to weigh on you mentally, it starts to weigh on you emotionally, okay? So one of the grand benefits is the ability to be able to take a loved one to a safe location where they're not going to be alone, where they're going to have professionals to look over their healthcare needs. They're going to be able to socialize with their peers and just know that they're safe and they're taken care of. So that is that respite aspect that adult daycare provides families and caregivers. And then again, on the opposite token, for seniors, they're able to be somewhere safe. They're not at home by themselves. You would probably be amazed at how many family members take the chance with family members that they're caring for, senior family members that they're caring for. They take the chance and say, well, I need to run an errand. I can't take you with me for whatever reason. I'm going to leave you at home. Who's watching over this individual if they have care needs? If there's mobility and transfer issues, who's helping this individual up and down, to and from the bathroom, up and down a chair, into the bed, out of the bed? Who's preparing the meals? Who's helping them with their activities of daily living? They're sitting at home all by themselves. Basically, their only socialization is the TV. So the benefit on the opposite end of the token, not just for the family and the caregiver, but also for the senior, especially if they are someone that is fairly social, they enjoy engaging with other people, they enjoy being out of the house. This is a great benefit. So these are the purposes that you will see when you're looking at adult daycare services. So now let's talk a little bit about payer sources. So for those that are interested in adult daycare, how do they pay for this service? So adult daycare is typically seen on the private pay model. It really mimics home care. It mimics senior living facilities as far as the payer sources are concerned. So of course, number one is going to be cash, credit cards, checks. That's your private pay. But as adult daycare continues to mature within the industry, because it is a fairly newer service model, as it continues to mature in the industry, Medicaid in particular states are providing waiver services for reimbursement. So again, with Medicaid waivers, that number one, the center has to be a Medicaid provider, an approved Medicaid provider, and that participant, that senior, has to be a Medicaid recipient or eligible for Medicaid and working towards that. But there are Medicaid waiver programs in many states that will reimburse for adult day. Have long-term care insurance. A lot of the policies will also reimburse for some adult day care services. And then you have veteran benefits as well. Okay. You see an asterisk behind Medicaid, long-term care insurance, and veterans benefits. And I wanted to identify that most times these services have to require some kind of health care support. So if you're looking at adult daycare, there are two models, and we'll talk a little bit about that further in the presentation. But there's a social model and there's a medical model. So if you're looking at only providing that social model, more times than not, you're not providing any support or a lot of support on the activities of daily living. You're not doing any kind of medication management or anything of that nature. So Medicaid, long-term care insurance, and veteran benefits might not cover the social model. That medical model, that healthcare model, they will more than likely provide some kind of coverage with that. Each policy is different, each state is different, so that is something that you would want to verify within your respective state. Average daycare costs in the United States, again, this is average, this can go up, it can go down, but the average cost we're seeing is $75 per day per participant. So participants, that's what they call the seniors that come to the adult day. So that's on average what you're looking at. Adult day doesn't typically pay or charge by the hour or charge by the month. It's typically a daily rate. Again, very similar to what you'll see in daycare. They typically invoice on a weekly or a bi-weekly schedule. But the fees that they usually articulate to families and caregivers is a daily rate, okay? And that leaves an opportunity for you to kind of customize your pricing and things of that nature. So we've gone over the benefits of adult day. We've talked briefly about how you're able to be paid for adult day services. So now let's talk about the why. Why this business? Why are we looking at this business? And the biggest thing, number one, we're going to talk about is the fact that the aging population continues to grow. Americans are living longer, but in turn, they are sicker, okay? So we have over 47.8 million people in the United States that are aged 65 years and older. And that is from the 2017 census report. So we're in 2019 now. I think we have another census coming in 2020. So we're definitely going to be able to see that increase. So there's definitely going to be more than that 47.8 million people that are age 65 and over. But as of 2017, those are the numbers that we're looking for, okay? Another reason why the adult daycare business, more people desire to age at home and remain out of an inpatient facility. So there are still populations that desire, living in an assisted living community and all the perks and the benefits of being there. But there are many individuals that are aging, especially our baby boomers, that are now very savvy about healthcare options. They know and they're learning about what's available, and many of them want to stay home. Even if home means they downsize and they're in a smaller, more efficient place to live, they want to stay home. So with staying home means we have to look at different areas of care, because just because they want to stay home does not change the aging process, does not change the need for support services. So this is where adult daycare can come on as such an amazing benefit, because it allows this individual to stay in their home setting, but have the flexibility and the opportunity to go out, receive that support, receive that socialization as they need and as they desire. So that's another reason why the adult daycare business is an amazing business to get into right now. A third reason is the business model is a phenomenal business model. It's great to work independently, or you can add this to other services. So if you are ready, or if you're considering opening a home care business or a personal care home or something a little bigger, a senior living community, if you offer transportation and you're looking at how can I branch my business out? What can I add to my business? The adult daycare model is such a nice model to look at. Cost to start your business, I put down flexible, a minimum average. And again, this is going to vary on a multitude of things, but a minimum average is about $15,000 to get started. And again, that's going to be dependent on many things: your location, the building, the size, modifications that you'll need to do to your building, just to kind of give you a few ideas as to where these numbers are going to add up to. But you have some flexibility, especially if you already own a business. Maybe you have a large office building already and you want to start with a small adult daycare. I've even seen adult daycare providers lease homes, and a home to them is ideal. They have all the facilities that they need. They have the kitchen, they have rooms that they can utilize for activities, for offices, they have general living spaces, the living room, the dining room. So it really depends on how creative you desire to be with your adult daycare business. That will also determine your startup expenses. All right, so now we're going to get into the 5 steps to a successful adult day business, okay? So we're going to go over, these are in general the steps here. Here are the 5. Research, plan, determine the types of services you want to provide, location, and developing a marketing strategy and network. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Research. So in anything we do, whether we're starting a business, we are endeavoring on an amazing vacation, whatever the case may be, we all do research. We need to know what we're getting ourselves into, what is this going to require, is it meeting what I'm expecting it to meet, how is this going to work with my lifestyle? Is it going to work with my experience level, my financial, abilities to cover this? Research, research, research. Extremely important. You want to learn the needs of your area. Okay, if you're looking to provide adult day services, we are talking about seniors. We're talking about those 65 and older. You need, if you're not already familiar with this demographic, it's extremely important that you understand what their needs are. What are the needs of the caregiver? What are the needs of the families? What how can you meet their needs? How can you be of a support? You also want to do research on the area that you're looking to provide adult day business. If you live in a college town and that's all that's predominantly there, an adult day business might not be the option unless you want to provide adult day services to college students. Then that's a whole different business model, and I'd be interested to see on how that works. But if you're looking to provide services to seniors, you want to make sure you're very strategic about where that location may be. So maybe it requires you to look into another county in your local area, but you want to make sure before you build any kind of business that there's an actual need for the service, or else this is going to be in vain. You're going to spend a lot of money and it might not be as lucrative as you desire simply because you don't have the business coming in. So it's very important that you know the demographic, you know the area, you know who's in the area, okay? A very important research that many people don't think about is know your competition. What's your competition doing? How much competition is in the area? If you're looking at a particular location and there are 10, 12 adult daycares on one strip, which that's a huge exaggeration, but regardless, if there's a multitude of adult day providers in one central area, that's something to consider. But also learn about the services that they're providing. What makes that competitor unique? What seems to be working for that competitor? Check out their reviews. Find out, what are people saying about this adult day program? What are the complaints? Those people that are leaving reviews, that may be complaining about services, those are your potential clients. So if there's something that you can learn from these reviews, maybe tips on what you may want to implement or tips on what you don't want to implement, you want to know these things. You want to do your due diligence and researching and finding out what your competitors are doing. You don't want to become so obsessed that you're unable to work on your own business, but definitely keep your thumb on your competitors. Don't sleep on what they're doing. Always keep an eye and see what's going on, okay? Another area of research that's very important and most people think about towards the end, you want to check out your state's compliance regulations and their requirements. Many states, and as adult daycare continues to be a growing business model, especially with that healthcare component, states are now regulating adult daycare services. So you want to check with your Department of Aging, you want to check with your Department of Health, whoever the regulatory entity is within your state, to see if you are required to go through a licensure process, if they provide steps for minimum business activity in order for you to be licensed, because you want to make sure you know what those are. You've researched that, you have a good firm understanding of what the process looks like. That's going to help you again determine if this is a business model that you even want to get into. Maybe the requirements for the state are just too extensive and it's not something that you're interested in getting into. Or maybe it's just fine, but it's still very important for you to know what your state requirements are. There are some states that are not regulated. So if you have a hard time and you're looking to find out some information, Pick up the phone, give a call, and you may find out that you live in a state that is not regulated. Step number 2, plan, okay? We've done our research. We have a good idea of what the needs are for the people we're looking to serve. We have a good idea of where we're going to open this building and provide this service. We've reviewed the regulations. Now it's time to plan. Let's utilize this research, this information from this research, and let's start planning. So one of the important keys when you're building a business, and I don't care if you're starting this business from your kitchen table, is to develop a business plan. And that is a step that so many people skip, and then they struggle to navigate through their business. So before we even start talking about a logo or a website, those things are trivial. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Those things are trivial. You can have a stick figure logo, okay? If you don't have a business plan, no one cares. So, business plan. You need to know, who are you going to provide service to? How will you provide service to them? Where are you going to provide service to? How are you going to grow? How are you going to open your business? What's your growth strategy? Expansion? Where do you see yourself in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be? Your financial plan, startup capital to continue and facilitate the growth of your business. These are all highly important things to consider when you are opening your business. Before you put pen to paper to fill out an application through your state entity and submit that check or money order or credit card to pay that fee to become licensed, you need to figure out and look at the big picture and say, how am I going to continue this endeavor? Do I have a plan in place financially? Do I know where this business is going? Okay, these are the realities of starting any business, not just the adult daycare business, but any business. Okay, very important that we're talking about this. When you're looking at your startup fund, you want to know what your 6-month minimum operational budget is going to look like. That needs to be included at a very minimum. You know, those are all those things and the keys that are highly important. Okay. So determine the type of services you want to provide. So as I mentioned earlier, the adult daycare model has 2 standard models. You have the social model and you have the medical model. So under the social model, that's typically the area of focus. It's a place for someone to come. They're going to, engage in various activities. They may go on trips, but it's really focused on that social piece. Very few adult daycares are exclusively doing social model adult daycare. As adult daycare continues to be a norm within the industry, they're seeing the competitive need of providing that medical service. And that's, again, where that regulatory piece is coming into now, because now we're providing medication management. It could be medication reminders. It could be medication administration, depending on how complex you go. So you want to determine what business model are you going to get into. That's very important, and that's going to really help direct how you're going to develop this business, what your startup costs are going to look like, what your staffing model needs to look like if you're going to be providing a medical model. In that medical model, it's very common to see a lot of times they have social workers involved. They have, again, medication administration. They provide wound care services. They provide therapy. They may contract with a home health provider or an independent therapy provider, and therapy is done on site. The nice thing about adult daycare is you can become as creative as you want to become. There are some adult daycare programs that just provide service to a particular clientele. So maybe this individual wants to have an adult daycare business where they only serve those with Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia, and they cater all of their services to that population. The sky is really the limit when it comes down to ways that you can creatively structure the types of services you want to provide within the regulations that may be provided within your state. But you can become very creative. But it's important that you sit down and you're very strategic with developing how and what types of services you want to provide. And that goes back to that research component and knowing who your clientele is, knowing what their needs are. That's going to help you develop a really strong and competitive business. Step number 4 is location, and this is extremely important, very, very important. Before you commit to a particular location, there are very important key factors that you need to have in place. So although these individuals, these participants are not going to be sleeping in the facility, they are going to be spending long periods of time in that facility. So you want to make sure that when you pick a location, the very first thing you want to do is check out the zoning. You want to make sure that the zoning is appropriate for the type of business that you desire to operate. Because if the zoning is not going to work, then this business or this location, excuse me, is not going to be a prime location for you. So before you commit yourself to a 3 to 5 month, 5-year lease, make sure you check the zoning. Very important. You also want to be considerate of the size of the location. How big is it? That's going to determine how many people, how many occupants you can have within that building. And when you get an occupant number, that's a total number of people. That's not just participants, that's participants and employees. How many people at one time can you have in that building? So you want to take that into consideration when you're looking at size. You want to think about business models. So again, going back to step 3, you want to determine the types of services that you're going to be providing. If you're providing a more medical model, you're going to need space to provide medical treatment and care. So a location that's one big open space and doesn't provide for privacy might not be an ideal location based on your business needs, okay? So that is something that you want to take into consideration when you're looking at location. You also want to determine find out what kind of business was there prior. That's going to help you figure out how much, what kind of modifications are going to be needed. You'd be amazed, depending on your state regulations, depending on your fire marshal in your local area, what modifications and requirements are necessary to bring your location up to code where it's safe enough for you to have participants, to have staff in your location. So it might mean adding firewalls somewhere, adding, different levels of security, whatever the requirements are. You want to make sure that you're picking a prime location that's going to be cost effective for your budget, something that you can manage. And number 5, developing a sales and marketing plan. And I want to also throw in just a care provider network. While we're building our business, and I see this very often, we are so excited with developing our business and we go through all of the moving steps and we forget about one very important aspect, and that is the sales and marketing of your business. If you do not have a sales and marketing plan, if you are not out marketing to individuals, creating that amazing network with professionals that can provide you with referrals or that you can refer to as well. All of this work, all of this finding a location, spending money, headache, sweat, and tears, all of this is going to be in vain. So, along with your business plan, your financial plan, you want to make sure you have a very firm and strategic sales and marketing plan. Very detailed. This is where it's important again to know who you're serving. Where are you going to find them? What are you going to say? What's going to make you different than your competition? Why should they do business with you? How often are you going to go out and market? What is your marketing material going to look like? What is it going to say? How is it going to resonate with families, with caregivers, with those professional referral sources? These are all very important pieces to your sales and marketing plan. Sales and marketing in healthcare is not like sales and marketing at a car dealership. Go to a car dealership, you know the car you want, you know there's a need. I need a car. It has to seat at least 5 of us in this car. It needs to be gas efficient or whatever the case may be. Very direct to the point. You make that transaction and you go. Healthcare, especially in senior care, it is a completely different experience. Sometimes it can take up to 8 to 12 encounters with professional referral sources for them to start remembering you and saying, oh yeah, ABC adult home care, adult daycare, maybe I will contact them. It takes time to develop those relationships. So I always encourage people to start that aspect of business development early. If you know adult daycare is the model that you're looking to get into, you know this is something that you are going to do, start thinking about the marketing piece. Who am I going to talk to? How can I already start planting little seeds? The ideal goal is that you go out there, you develop these relationships. As you are working through the process of building your business and getting your business started, you have solid relationships with people. You've engaged in the community. People know you. You've participated in activities that are centered around those that you're going to serve, those that you're going to be working next to. That when you open up your business, you have your grand opening. If someone gives you a referral for adult daycare, you can accept it immediately because you've put in the legwork, you planted the seeds, you did the work necessary to develop those relationships. So it's highly important to develop a very strong and strategic marketing plan. Okay. So that is the end of this presentation. So I'm ready to get started. How can Care Assurance help? So there are ways that we can help you. As I mentioned, we have the Care Assurance Academy. And that Care Assurance Academy, we're very excited about. It actually will launch next Monday, which is amazing. So let's get a little bit into that. And we're also going to talk about cost, because I'm sure you're wondering, what does that look like? So, Care Assurance Academy, again, this is going to be an amazing platform. It allows for you, as the busy individual that you are, the busy entrepreneur, or if you're looking to get into entrepreneurship and you're working a job, it's going to give you an opportunity to be able to get out there and to get the training that you need on your own time. So it is a university style platform. It is a platform where you are able to go through the modules, go through the trainings, and it's self-guided, okay? So what comes up in the adult daycare startup program? You get that business development support. So we are going to not just give you the steps, but we're going to walk you through it and support you on how to incorporate your business. Um, Best practices in business development, best practices in operations, all of the small things that oftentimes we don't think about, the insurances that you will need. If you live in a state where state insurance is something to think about, setting up for For your staff, your team, those kind of payroll and employer insurances, liability, workers' comp, we're going to go through all of that. Everything you need to develop a compliant and sound business, you're going to get that, and you're going to get business coaching, and again, that best practice on business development. You're going to learn and get training and support on best practices for adult daycare operations. These best practices will work in harmony with whatever your state requirements are. You have to, at bare minimum, meet your state requirements, okay? Everything else is an added bonus. But as long as you meet your state requirements, that's the bare minimum. So we're going to go over best practices and again, make sure you're compliant with your state requirements. You're going to get a huge resource of business development tools that you're going to need within your business. We have developed really amazing relationships with professionals that provide software, professionals that can support you with writing your business plan. We have sourced and scrubbed through various grants that may be available to help you with funding and different areas of business development. So you're going to get all of those resources right there, which is going to cut out all of that time where you're searching on the internet and you're applying for things and you don't know if these things are legit or not. You're going to get a nice resource database of these tools that you'll be able to just pick up and utilize at your convenience. Okay? You get a complete startup package with modifiable operations and staff development forms. So you're going to get forms that you're going to be able to utilize within your business. You're going to be able to modify them, put your logo on them, change the wording. If your state requires a certain vocabulary on different forms, but you're going to have everything you need. It's really, truly a business in a box format for you guys. You get a modifiable policy and procedure manual, and that's going to be operations and care policy as well. This policy and procedure manual is based on the medical adult daycare model, but can be scaled down and modified if you desire to simply have a social model adult daycare. The training, again, is on the easy access platform. You're going to have availability to it based on your schedule. So it's not a matter of, I have to be at a particular training at a particular time. You have that access and availability and that ease to go through that training, go back through the training if you need to at your availability. As important as I said, sales and marketing is, you get sales and marketing training as well. It's highly important. And not only are we going to train you on it, we're also going to help you develop a firm sales and marketing plan, something that's very realistic, not only for those that are exclusively entrepreneurs, but for those that are working. And so they have to be strategic with their time based on their job. Bonus training that is added is going to be tips to creating specialty services within your adult daycare. So again, if you're looking to have an adult daycare that focuses on dementia care or maybe some other form of care and service, you're going to learn how to implement those models. And a lot of times people complicate that. It's not that difficult, and you're going to get the training and you'll learn how to incorporate that into your business. So additional perks to the adult daycare program, you get 6 months of weekly group coaching calls. So again, you are not going to be alone in this. I'm not throwing this business model to you and telling you best wishes. I want to make sure that if you're serious about starting an adult daycare business, that you have the support you need. And it's not going to take 30 days or even 60 days. It's going to take some time, and we're going to be working with you in a group setting. So you'll have group calls. You'll have lifetime access
I
to
got a
a
coupon
Facebook
for the
group. So
three
those
piece
that
tender
sign up
regular
for this
cinnamon biscuit,
program at various times will
spicy.
be added to that group. And you guys can network
And can
together and
I
you can
add a side of
share your
macaroni
victories,
and
share best
a sweet?
practices, share things that are working for
Huh?
you
My
within
my
that
extra side, I'm
community. So
sorry,
it's
is
an
gonna be mashed
awesome
potatoes.
opportunity to have a
Yes,
community of like-minded
and that
professionals working with you. And then
Okay.
you have lifetime access to the program. So the access you have to the program, to the university under the
Okay,
adult
so
daycare
that's the
model
meal that I
does
want.
not
I'm adding the
expire. You will always
macaroni
have
and then the
access
apple
to that.
pie and the
3 years in business down the road, if you want to go back
okay, that's
onto the
it.
portal and go through that program, or if you have leadership that you're hiring or a business partner, you want that individual to go through that startup program to have a better understanding, you will always have access to that program. So, nice value, amazing value. You're going to receive a lot of detailed support. We're not skimming over, we're going detail, we're getting to work. So this is valued at $6,997. But I understand that this needs to be realistically attainable for some people. And sometimes $6,997 isn't always in our wallet, and I get that. So the program price is $997, okay? We want to make sure that we're supporting you guys with reaching your goals for business. So we made this at a very realistic price range of $997. If you are interested and you know that you're ready to go to the next step and you know you're ready to start your adult daycare business, for those that are interested in taking fast action, we have a fast action price of $597, one-time price, okay? That price expires on Friday, the 12th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're ready to do this, you want to take action fast, but 597 might not be in the budget today. That is okay. We are able to work with you. We do have two payment plan options where you can put 50% down today and the remaining 50% in 30 days. So that's a total of two payments of $298.50. We do have a Plan B option, and that's broken down into three total payments. It is a little higher price point than the 597. So you would pay 250 down today, and then there would be two additional payments of 250, one due in 30 days and an additional 30 days after that. So it would be stretched out over a total of a 3-month period for that payment to be done. And that would lock you in for the Monday start to access the academy. You have access to all of the tools immediately. So when you gain access to the academy on Monday, everything is there. The forms, the templates, the policy and procedure manuals, the trainings that you need, everything is there. If you're unable, for whatever reason, to take advantage of the fast action start and you have to start at a later date, we do have payment plans for the full price, okay? You just need to contact us and we will work with you and we'll make sure that you're able to secure pricing that works for you. Okay, that's just again that pricing model. So if you have any questions, you're interested in signing up, or if any questions pop up, I want you guys to take down my email address. It's customercare@mycareassurance.com. That's where you can ask any general questions about the adult daycare startup program, any of the other services that I mentioned in the introduction of this presentation. You will also be able to ask those questions there. A lot of you follow me on social media, so if you want to reach out to me, send me a message. I'll be more than happy to answer you there as well. So what I would like to do now, I'm going to pause this recording, and I wanted to go ahead and answer any questions that we have. Let me check the chat here. Okay. All right, it looks like we don't have any questions, so I'm going to open up again. Any questions from anyone? Questions, comments? clarification on anything that was presented today, I'll be more than happy to. Okay. All right. Well, if there are no further questions, I'm going to go ahead and we are going to close out the meeting. I thank you all so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you.